Welcome back everyone to Welstopia, where today we will be building the Great Hall, which connects from the East Hall. And this is east relative to the Great Hall. It's not east relative to the rest of the dungeon, because this is at the western part that we have this here. Now, the original module has this rear area very dark. But that's also where we're going to have our throne and stuff like that. So that's not a good place, I think, in which to have darkness. So I am going to play with the lighting in here, but I am going to have some dark in the area. And of course, I'm going to have a way to prevent monsters from spawning. Now, the module says that there is an alabaster platform in the back, a dais in the back. And of course, we don't have alabaster in Minecraft, so I've decided to use concrete powder for this. I don't think I've ever built with concrete powder. I was considering concrete, but I decided that was a little bit too smooth for what I wanted to achieve here. And I thought this will work, and this will go with what I want for the rest of the room. Because I'm not going to have any great obvious lighting. And I want a few of the locations, perhaps especially the corners, for example, to be dark and moody. And if you want dark and moody, you get monster spawns. And of course, we want to avoid that. So what I'm going to be doing is making this out of concrete powder. But the stairs, but I do want to have some stairs there leading up to it. And that will be quartz coming up here onto here, and I think that will be exactly what I want. Now, just as I did in the other room, in the mushroom room, I will be putting some stairs along the side. Probably need a few extra, and over here I have a gate. This gate can be opened, so therefore it can act as the closed place in here, but at the same time I have access because this is where we have our stairs. If our only set of stairs is right here, obviously closing it off doesn't sound like a good idea. And then we could have some torches here in order to discourage monsters from coming around. Though rather than torches, let's try a pair of end rods. Good, I think that will do exactly what we want. So therefore we have this up here lit, and of course whoever's giving their speech from here will be able to do it. Now, one of the features of the original module is that we have this six-sided star shape with a hexagon, and then on the side of the hexagons are these pulsing colors. Now, I'm not going to be doing that. So to pay homage to the colors that they have on there, I've decided instead to carpet the floor with the various colors of the rainbow, as usual. We will have to be dodgy a little bit on the violet side, but the original module actually says it is glowing purple, not violet. So therefore, we are following the module and using purple instead of violet here. So that would be perfectly in tune with what's going on there. Here we go, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, we'll have six, and of course, using carpet is going to allow us to keep the mobs from spawning. So there's a double reason for doing the carpeting on this one. And then I'll next go to blue. They say blues and indigo, but there is a hypothesis saying that when Newton said blue, said indigo, he actually meant blue, and that when he said blue, he might have been meaning cyan. So therefore, I'm going to follow that particular hypothesis on this as I do with everything else. So next, cyan. Then finally, we get to the red way at the end, where we have to be careful. Well, we are within, no one will spawn within our area at the moment. But of course, we have this darkness that we're going to have because, well, the torches can't be low. I guess we could have them a little bit higher for the moment. But in the long term, the torches are going to be going here. So I may throw down some lighting underneath. I just have to see where I want it to be dark and where I want it to be a little bit light. There we have it. I think that's just the mood we want. It'll be dark in the back where we have the red area, while we will still have light at the area on the pulpit, which I think would be nice and appropriate. Probably not for the original dungeon, but I think it'll be appropriate for what I'm trying to do here. And what we're going to do now is to carpet the area getting close to the edge here, and I'm going to use gray carpeting. I figure I'm going to use let's try the light gray here. Now, due to the way the color is pretty close to that of the stone here, it may look a little weird, but I think we do want the height to match, so it will help with that. And the other way it'll help with things, of course, is to prevent monster spawning, which is what inspired me to choose carpeting in the first place. And now let's try the other one and do the dark gray. And here we go. Yeah, the transition doesn't work out very well. I'm going to have to rethink that part of it. The first thing I'll do is just to try a transition based on shape and just do this so that the purple becomes the dark gray and the brick here, the prismarine brick here, then becomes the gray. So at least we have that, and that looks a little bit better. A little bit. I'll have to see if I can come up with something better before the end of the episode. But now, we do of course have to worry about the walls and the ceiling. Based on the pattern that we have established here, going from the purple down to the red, and then here to the gray, that will mean that the wall should also be gray. So therefore, what I'm going to do is I am going to use polished andesite for my wall, use that as a baseline, and then after that, I will see if there's anything I can do in order to touch it up to make it look a little bit nicer and varied. But I'm going to start by using a base of polished andesite all the way down. And that's the result for the walls, which I actually think work here. Of course, they're a bit plain, which means I cannot have a plain ceiling. Now, I am not going to do a ceiling like this, which all depends on being brightly colored and all, because I want a lot of stuff to be a bit dark here. Now, you may be wondering, if this is the Great Hall, why is the ceiling only 4 high? And that's because right around here, we still have that pathway going along there, and I don't want to interfere with that. But I think I might be able to get away with raising the ceiling right about here. Let's see if there's a place where I can raise the ceiling by 1. No. Let's see, I go right next. Nope, I do run into the path, and you see the path runs right there. So I'll either have to jiggle with the path or live with only having a 4 high ceiling at this point. So with that in mind, what should I do with the ceiling? Let's go with the assumption I'm going to have a 4 high ceiling. Now I need some way to decorate it. Gray, that would be just too much grayness if that were a gray ceiling. I don't want it to be as brightly colored as the floor, so something in between. What if we try something going from white down to gray? So that means starting out with a core here of, let's say, 6 blocks of quartz. Then surrounding that, we go to our next version of white on the scale, which is going to be concrete. Obviously not concrete powder, but regular concrete that has already been... No, I don't want concrete powder because that'll just fall down. I want white concrete around that. There you go. So I have to get a little water and turn that. Let's see how things work out before I go and start processing the rest. Then after the concrete, then I can go and various things that are white and eventually get down to the gray, which we're going to have here. So sort of gradually turn into the gray that we have on the walls. What I think I'll do is have a white ceiling. And in order to do that, I'm going to have a diorite on the edges, like this. And then I will have various types of white, some diorite probably being the main thing I have there, but have some patterns of other types of white that will be forming with it, so that I will have some variation on the ceiling, but it will be, on the most part, a white ceiling. So therefore, it won't be super colorful to compete with the floor, but it will be a little bit of a contrast, at least in good light, which we're not going to really have, with the sides that we've got. And hopefully that could make things look a little bit decent. In this direction, I decided to have a width of 2 on the ends, and that would be going in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so therefore I have 3 sections going in this direction and some little pattern in between there. As for this direction, how large am I here? Now the reason why I'm doing it this way with 2 wide is because if I didn't, I would have a prime number, and you can't divide up a prime number. So in this direction, I'm going to base it again on the number. Down on this direction, we have 15 wide. If we subtract 1 for an edge, that will give us 14, which gives us 2 divisions of 7 each. And that doesn't exactly sound promising, but if I go 2 wide with everything, then that might work. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Oh, we'll have just 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's nice and even. In fact, we could go for extra narrow if we wanted to do that. We could decide whether we want everything to be narrow or wide. So therefore, we could either go with 5 or with 2, depending on what everything else comes up with. But for now, let's get the rest of this filled in, and then we could start on the rest of the ceiling pattern. I have decided to go with the larger size, and what I want to be doing is placing spruce here, and for the edges I will be using some stairs to go around like this. So I have a little variation at the texture change, so we'll just go around like that. See how that works. Let's do a few more and see if it still looks good. I will just do this one, and we will be done with the set. Preferably not on the wrong side of the fence to finish it with. And here we go, and it is done. There you have it. Our grand hall there. Oh, we've got a block pattern ceiling, a rainbow on the floor, grays matching what's the style coming out through there, and a gray wall in there. It is a bit dark, but I'm doing that in order to give the feel of the original, and also I figure you could have the dark of the hall counterpointed with the light that is up here, so the person talking here is the one who's getting all of the light. And there you have it, the Great Hall. So let's just try going down this way from the Hall of Mushrooms. We head downstairs. We have the east wall, which is pretty well lit up, and then we head into the Great Hall. Things are a bit dimmer in here, so I think a few banners would be in order. Let us try having banners here, 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 and here. Now, of course, it's a bit dark. Actually, let's put one, say, here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 inside, 1, 2, 3, 4 inside. I think that would be a good distribution for our banners. Maybe not quite this dark. Now, actually, this... Maybe I could have a little light, not obvious light, a little bit coming out of the floor where the banners are at, so I can at least have something to help me with. Let me get some glowstone. I had a few sea lanterns on me, and considering that this is going to be hidden light, I think the sea lantern will do just as well as glowstone in this case. So let's pop that in. And go over that and do the same over here. Over here. I don't think we'll need it for the back, and this would just give us a little bit of light, but hopefully not too much to distract from what I'm trying to do here. Number 3. Give it to me here, and then number 4 right here. Good. Done. And done. That way it's not all hidden. Well, maybe a bit brighter than I had hoped, but I think we still have most of the light up here, which then won't hurt the effect too much anyway. I think with this rainbow color here, maybe my original idea of darkness wasn't as good as it was. And that is our Great Hall. So that means that next time we need to head over onto the other side of our mushroom hall here, where we are going to go in here and build the final of the 4 great rooms for this particular level. And that'll be in the next episode of Piney Plays Minecraft Welstopia.